Hello, it's Phil here at digitaldjtips.com with a look at the KRK Rokit 10.3 monitor speakers for DJs and producers. Now, as you can tell, these are a substantial speaker. They're made of MDF, they're pretty heavy, about 20 kilos each. They're clearly not designed for the kind of application that this kind of speaker is designed for, but this is actually the same speaker in the same range. It's got the same basic controls, designed for the same thing. What you're talking about here is a much bigger room, a much bigger installation. Now, this kind of speaker would be used in a very small studio. Most DJs are going to want something between the two. You know, a 5, a 6, an 8-inch woofer will give you a speaker that has a cabinet somewhere between these two. We've reviewed this one, by the way, but this one is new to us. So let's put this one down here for a second and talk more about these ones. So what are they? They are independent tri-amplified speakers. Now, that means there's a different amplifier for each of the three: tweeter, mid-range, and bass. What that means in real terms is they sound good. They're designed to sound great, better than a speaker that's driven by a single amplifier. So technically they've got all the stuff that makes speakers like this sound good. And at this price point, about 400 euros each, there's not really much else out there, so they're kind of standing on their own. So the fact that they're individually tri-amplified means that you plug one left and one right lead into each speaker from your mixer or from your DJ console, from whatever you want to play through them. And that means that they work completely independently, their own power supplies. There's no link between these two speakers, and that's the way this kind of speaker works. So that's what you've got to bear in mind. They've got built-in amplifiers and they're independent speakers. Again, that's a similar, this is the same thing. What's different about these then is that they're designed really for midfield monitoring. Now, midfield monitoring is when they're a bit further away from you than speakers that are smaller. Speakers that are smaller will typically be in a little triangle with you kind of sat there with your gear in the middle of it, and they're very close to your ears, and they're set up so that you, there's kind of a meter and a half maximum between you and the speakers. These are designed differently because they're so big and because the music's coming from different places on the speaker. If you get too close to them, it starts to not work, the stereo imaging doesn't work properly and so on. So they're designed to work a bit further away from you. But that said, they've got a twist in their tail. If you were to turn the speaker horizontally and undo these two Allen key bolts here, you can turn the whole mid-range and tweeter unit around. And then, with that set in that position, you've kind of got speakers 1, 2, and 3 like this. With the speaker horizontally on a stand, you can still work with them very close to you. So they're actually quite versatile. In a big room, you can use them as they're really intended, a slight distance from you. But in a smaller room or in a big room where you're just sat very close to your gear, you've got that flexibility to turn them on their sides and using them as a near-field monitor. So that's one innovation that is in the 10.3s. Let's talk you through the back panels so you can get a better idea of what's here. High frequency and low frequency adjust. These are just a click. They're not designed to be used as an EQ. You do that on your mixing desk or on your DJ controller or whatever. These are just to allow for the way your room is set up. So if you've got the speaker in a corner or against a wall, which is not ideal for this kind of speaker, you can roll a bit of the boomy bass off there. And the high frequencies, again, just to trim it for your room. When you set that, you forget it. The volume controls here, again, you're going to set this to what works for you on each speaker, and then your main volume control is going to be on your DJ controller or your mixing console. The inputs are for unbalanced RCA, and you've also got balanced inputs for TRS and XLR. Now, the power plugs in down here. There's an on-off switch, but you're not going to be using the on-off switch a lot because one of the features I like about this is after half an hour of inactivity, the speaker will go into standby mode, and then as soon as you play some music through it again, it will wake up again. So that's a nice feature. So as I said at the beginning, these are probably not going to be for you. You probably haven't got a room that's big enough to use them, and I certainly wouldn't recommend using them in a party or something. Never, never, never use your home speakers in parties. They're not designed for that. That said, if you have got a bigger room, you are looking for a bigger speaker for production and for DJing, they are great value for the money. And as I also said earlier, there's very little out there that's tri-amplified of this kind of size and at that price range. So that's the KRK Rokit 10.3s. There's a full review of these over on digitaldjtips.com. If you found this useful, please do join the site. There's a link below and you'll get lots of freebies there. And please do subscribe to the channel as well. We'd love to have you along. I'm Phil Morse for Digital DJ Tips. Thank you very much for watching.